Hey friends, how you doing today? Wow, that came out funny. So we're going to look at installing the tools that we need for the class here today. So we're going to start with our GitHub account. Now, I already have an account, so this one I can't really show very well at all. But I'll click this link, and if you hold Control, it'll actually launch the link for you here. But you'll go and make an account. Here, they're free accounts, don't need to pay for anything here, and you'll just need to know what your username is here. So if you go to your profile, it'll take you to your page here. So mine is Eric Chinesky. Okay, so we're going to use this username later on as we go. So that one's a free account. Just sign up at github.com. You can do the sign up option there. Should be pretty straightforward. After that one, now we're going to install the GitHub desktop client. We're going to use the GitHub desktop client to get all of the code from our computer out to github.com. So GitHub is a cloud service provider of the Git source control tool. Now, Git was written or started by our friend Linus Torvald, the founder of Linux. And it's a fantastic source control tool, the most widely used tool out in the industry. That's Git itself. GitHub happens to be the hosting provider that we get to use to have a cloud-based service for synchronizing our code with, and they happen to give it away for free for educational use. So it's fantastic. So we'll go to desktop.github.com and download it here. Now, it will work on Windows, it'll work on Mac, it'll work on Linux. No worry here, they have all sorts of different varieties that you can download here. It's a pretty quick download, not too big here. So we'll let that go and we'll install it, and then it's going to ask us to log in, which will actually take us back to the website. So a little bit of back and forth here with the website and with GitHub. I've already said yes to some of those sometimes, so if it pops up a link and says, hey, do you want to allow it to open this? Yeah, just say yes here. That one's a little harder for me to show from scratch here. All right, so I got that downloaded. We'll give it a run here in just a second. I think it's doing its last scan. Maybe here. There it goes. We'll go ahead and open it. Now, it does take just a second after you open, so you don't need to click it like 3 or 4 times. It'll spin up and think a minute while we go here. And then it should pop up the installer in a second. Let's give it a second here. You know, while that's going, let me actually start downloading the IntelliJ tool as well. So I'm going to skip over Discord. You're welcome to use that for office hours, chatting with the class or not in the class channel. I like Discord, but I'm not requiring anyone to use it there. So I'm going to start downloading the community version here of IntelliJ, because community is the free one. We don't need a license here, which is awesome. So that should start downloading. The GitHub desktop's going now, and it's going to launch itself when it's done. So we'll just kind of multitask here a minute. This one's a little bit bigger of a download. Shouldn't be too long here. Wow, my internet's going real slow tonight. That's really weird. Usually it's much faster than that. Maybe my computer's just cranky. Let's work on getting these tools installed. There it goes. All right, and the GitHub client here. I uninstalled it. I thought it would make me log in again. So let me go and log out real fast. You can see that experience. I'm going to sign out here. There it goes. And then go back. It still has my repository. That's all right. We're going to sign in with the GitHub account here. And it's going to launch the browser. It might ask you to, yes, do you want to allow this app to open? Yep, say yes. The browser says, okay, great. And then it brings you back here to the page and you're logged in. And then we're good to go with the GitHub desktop client. We're in good shape there. Then we'll come back and see how our IntelliJ download is going. Okay, we're almost there with IntelliJ. We're in pretty good shape. And Scene Builder we can wait on. We'll get to this when we get to the graphical user interface application programming. There's no need to download it, install it now. We're not going to use it for quite a while. And you're always welcome to use the virtual desktops. Now, the downside with the virtual desktops is they don't save anything. So you actually do need to go re-download the GitHub desktop client every time you use the virtual desktop. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's real quick. The internet's real fast. It takes another like 30 seconds. But it's one thing we have to do every time to make sure our code gets synchronized out in the cloud. And the nice thing is once the cloud has it, they're not going to lose it anywhere. So it's actually pretty nice for us. All right, let's give this one a run here and run the IntelliJ installer here. Again, this is the community edition. You want the free one here. So say yes to our prompt, our security prompt. And then I like default. If you want to install it somewhere else, go for it. But I'm just going to leave it there. And we don't need a shortcut. We don't need any of that stuff. No options here. We're okay. Sure. This should be a pretty quick install. So this is my integrated development environment of choice. It's modern, nice and flexible. The book uses NetBeans, which we used to use, and I just got tired of it being just a little clunky. and have found IntelliJ to be a lot smoother and nicer for us here. So if you really want to use NetBeans, you're welcome to do it, but I'm going to be using IntelliJ for everything throughout the course. So up to you, whatever you prefer here. So this should get downloaded, set everything up for us. It's usually pretty quick here. There it goes. And we'll be in pretty good shape as we go. All right, almost there. Yeah, and do keep in mind for your GitHub account, it is a public website, so your account is public information. It doesn't have to have your name. A lot of people like to use this to host a portfolio of their projects later on in their career, as they're like trying to show, hey, these are all the cool things I've done. Please don't make anything public while we're doing it in class. After the due date, perfectly fine, again, because I don't take things late, but the repositories that you're going to use will be private, which means you will have access and I will have access. No one else will have access to them. And we'll talk all about that when we talk about the first chapter and the first lab assignment this week as well. So if it doesn't make a lot of sense, that's okay. We'll get there. But for now, everything will be private with GitHub here, except for your username. Same for Discord. That's actually a public Discord server I invite people to. So anyone's welcome to join and be on topic. So use whatever handle you want for Discord. You're perfectly fine there. I know who you are because your name is attached to stuff that you submit to D2L. All right, almost got IntelliJ here. A bit of setup. Once it's installed, then we're off to the races. We don't have to do the installation again, so we should be in pretty good shape soon. All right, awesome. And then, yeah, we want to run it. We'll go ahead and finish. Let that run. So we don't need to import anything. If you had a previous install, you can go import some settings. We don't need to bother with any of that. So we've got IntelliJ. The version on the virtual desktop is going to be a little earlier, not the latest version here. Don't worry about it. It's going to do the same thing for us here. So I want to do a new project to get us started here. And just to test it out, make sure everything works here, we'll do a quick little hello world. One of the traditions when you make a new programming project is you always do hello world. You make the computer say hello world. I don't know why. That's just what it is here. So we'll call this one hello world. Hello world here. Now, usually you don't want to use spaces in your names. We'll talk about naming a little later on. It's going to put it in my my users folder called idea projects. Sure, this is fine for now. Once we talk about the lab assignment, actually not even this week. Next week we'll start talking about where we need to put lab assignments. We should be okay. We want to use Java. The other ones don't worry about. We want to use IntelliJ. Now the JDK here, we want to use something a little bit later here. We want to go download a JDK. And we want it to download. Hey, let's take this Oracle version 18 is our latest and greatest here. We should be in pretty good shape with Oracle here. And we'll say, okay, let's go download it. It's going to actually save it to this local folder here, this JDKs folder. That's fine. That's all well and good. So it'll go and automatically download that one for us, the Oracle Open JDK that we can use, which is nice. It will go download that package for us, and then we don't have to do anything by hand, which is awesome. We don't even need to go install Java separately because it will install the Java Development Kit, is the JDK that we actually use to write Java programs, which is pretty cool. It lets us develop our Java programs here. And we'll get that one downloaded and installed. We'll get our first project going. There it goes. Awesome. All right, we got the download done. The advanced settings, perfectly fine. You can leave all those things alone. And we'll start up our new project. So this is IntelliJ. It's a fantastic tool for us here. So a lot of things happening. So this project view over on the left kind of shows us, hey, this is the folder. It's in C users, Eric C, idea projects, hello world. That's the location where this folder is. Then there's this .idea folder. Now in Windows, probably the same in Mac, if you have a dot in front of your folder name, it means it's a hidden folder. You shouldn't mess with it. Don't touch it. Don't do anything with it. Just never have to do anything here. The source folder, or SRC folder, this is the important folder. This is where we're going to put our source code. So our Java code is going to go in here. And then there's this project file, this INL file. It's used by IntelliJ to track some things. Don't worry about it here. We're going to come to source, and we're going to right-click. It's thinking about it here. Actually, is it? All right, it's still thinking hard about our JDK. Let's give it just another second. Yeah, it's downloading our indexes. Okay, come on. This is what I get. I shouldn't have done a fresh install, but I really wanted to do the fresh install experience. Okay, just thinking about it. Almost there. All right, it's only halfway there. It's not almost there. I lied, but we're getting closer. All right, that's fine. Well, we can just do this on the side. So I'm going to right-click and say, hey, I want a new. Now, the right thing to do is put a package here. We're not going to worry about that right now. So I'm just going to do a new Java class. We'll call this Hello World. Now, for names here, definitely no spaces, and you want to start with a capital letter. Again, we'll get to naming conventions later. They're just conventions. It's not the end of the world if we don't follow it. And we get our first set of Java code. Doesn't mean a whole lot to us. Don't worry about it here. But it's public class hello world. So the name of the class here matches the name of our file, helloworld.java. Okay. Inside of here, for us to run our Java application, we need a very specific line. It's not all that interesting. We can just copy paste it. You don't need to memorize it all. Or because people type this all the time, there's shortcuts. So if you type PSVM and then click this or just hit tab, it will type all this in for you. So you need public static void main parentheses string square braces args. Let me zoom that in here. I'm sorry. Where's my zoom? Oh goodness. Why is that not zooming for me? Give me 1 second. Let me find my settings here. Zoom. So my fresh install here with that's the problem. Just zoom? Is that it? Zoom in? No, we don't want Android. Come on. Control plus. That's not doing it here. Wow. That's upsetting. Okay. I want to make that a little larger here because that is looking awfully small. Wow. I'll just change our font size. So we go to font here. And, go back. Font. Come on, give me font. Oh, go back. Font. All right, one more time. One more time. Settings, font. It's annoying to get this set up just the way you want it sometimes, but let's see. So we want, where's a zoom thing here? I thought appearance, custom fonts, key map. Increase font size. That's what I want. I want the increase font size. And a mouse shortcut. Control wheel up. Decrease font size. Mouse shortcut. Control down. Okay. That should just work. But okay, sure. Hey, okay, now I can zoom. Look at that. So now on my mouse wheel it'll zoom. I'm sorry about that. That's handy for me. Probably not super handy for you because you should just be able to see the font or keep it at a size you can use. But now this hopefully will look a little better here. So public static void main parentheses string with a capital S square braces args ending parentheses starting curly brace. So we have all sorts of crazy syntax here, which is how we tell Java what we're trying to tell it to do. And Java is very particular about syntax, and without proper syntax, our programs won't work. So, oops, we might run into some trouble. So the idea tool here, or IntelliJ, is going to give us all sorts of hints and suggestions and help make sure that it fits the way that it's expecting to. So notice we have curly braces that start and end here for public class. We have curly braces that start and end for public static void main. For now, everything we're going to do is inside of main, starting at whatever line is here. So, and again, because I'm a fan of shortcuts, I'm going to type SOUT for S out and hit tab. And it will give me capital S system.out.println. I like to say print line, but println here. Set of parentheses. Don't worry if this is gibberish. It's okay. We just want to make sure the tool works here. So I'm going to put in quotes here now, and that's full quotes. We'll say hello world. Hello world, exclamation point. Now, if you've done it right, it's going to turn green, and there won't be any red lines. If you're missing something like a parenthesis, or if you're missing that quote sign, you're going to get these red lines. We'll talk all what those mean as we go here. So if we don't have any red lines, we're in good shape. If you do have a red line, it sometimes is helpful, sometimes it's not. So this one says illegal line end in string literal. Well, that doesn't mean a whole lot to us, but if it shows up in green, that's called a string. It's just a string of text. So we didn't end the string. So you should see the end of the green section here as we go. And then this part here, system.out.println, is just telling it to please print something, print a line to the screen. Now we should be able to click the little run button here. So usually there's a run button in the top right. It's not active until we've actually run it the first time here. So I'm going to say run hello world here. I'll give it a second. It's going to go and build it. So Java needs to be compiled. Again, we'll get more into that as we go. I just want to make sure the tool is installed and working here, so that way you can follow along when we start talking about chapter 1. And this is the code that it runs here. So it's telling it to do something, this big, ugly, long thing. Don't worry too much about it. But what we get here in the output section is hello world. Whatever we typed in here, we're going to get spit out here. So the first line, don't worry about, and the last line, process finished with exit code 0, don't worry about. There's a long history to this sort of thing. Generally, exit code 0 means it finished as expected. Software, I mean, it still happens, but more often, it used to be a long time ago, you'd have a whole book of error codes or exit codes, and you have to look and see what does this actual code mean. Nowadays, we just get to Google it here, but we still use this idea of an exit code to say, hey, 0 is good, anything non-zero is bad or means something, go look it up. Okay, so if we got this up and running, we know we have IntelliJ installed. We'll get to Git when we start working on that as we go. That'll actually be the second lab next week. We're going to start off a little slower here as we go. So the first lab is just introducing ourselves and our partner. Go take a look at the discussion there. And if you've gotten this far, you should be in good shape. So what we're going to do for the discussion here, oh, I don't even have it open, is you're going to post about yourself, introduce yourself. You're going to find a partner. And then you and your partner will make sure your tools are installed and work. And then you will ask your partner some questions, and you will write these print line commands to introduce your partner. And then you will just paste this code here. Just go in here, go ahead and grab it, copy it all, right-click copy or Control-C copy, and paste it into the discussion. So 2 important deadlines. The first is you need your first post to introduce yourself by the end of Friday so that everyone has time to find a partner, ask them questions, and do that sort of thing over the weekend and Monday. And then your code that introduces your partner is due by Monday, 11:59 p.m. So everything will start Tuesdays, midnight, and then everything will end Monday, 11:59 p.m. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. But if you got this far and you got the tools installed, we'll get to using Git a little later. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. You folks take care. Thanks.